Hi everyone, today I just wanted to exchange a few initial thoughts about the A6000. I've had this for a few weeks now. I've actually got the Samyang 12mm f2 lens on it and I absolutely love this lens. The quality is just amazing, the images are just out of this world. It's small, it's light, it has a beautiful focus throw on it, and with the focus assist when the focus is not a problem at all. Not ideal for run and gun photography, not as compared to an autofocus lens, but I do have 2 or 3 other lenses that I use in those situations. But anything that I can take my time with, landscapes, architecture, anything like that, this lens is absolutely gorgeous. So, coming from Nikon, many years of Nikon, I did start to tire of all the weight, especially when I'm travelling, because I normally just have a cabin bag with me and a camera with a couple of lenses, a couple of bits and pieces. It could take a third or more of my 10 kilo allowance. In that respect, this is a massive difference. I don't even notice that I have this with me because it's smaller. I can have a smaller bag with me. In fact, I recently bought a Billingham Hadley Pro, which I love. It's lovely and slim. And with this, and even an extra couple lenses and a small flash, doesn't really weigh a lot. My first mirrorless was the Nikon V1, which I'm actually filming this on, which I do really like. Apart from the fact that everything is buried in the menus, and changing from manual to aperture priority or ISO or anything like that requires you to go into the menu, and it's quite cumbersome, especially if you're in situations where you're going from dark spots to light spots and that sort of thing. Whereas with this, it is on hand. You've got your PSM on the top, you've got access to ISO and everything on the back. Menus are quite quick. They're not too bad. It is completely different to Nikon. It's taken some getting used to just to remember where to go everything, because each time I'm just searching for things. But I'm getting there. In that respect, I find it's not too bad considering it's such a small package. It feels lovely. The image quality is fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. 24 megapixels. Considering that Nikon do use Sony sensors, I would imagine it's got a similar, if not identical, sensor to my 7200. I won't be getting rid of my Nikon cameras though. I've kept both my 7200 and my 750 and the others, simply because there are situations where I really do prefer size and the usability of Nikon. Everything is at hand. It's so quick to change settings. It's much faster. The startup time on this, there's always a little bit of a lag, a couple of seconds, and that could be just enough to be a niggle if you need to just get the camera and point and shoot. But for the reasons that I bought it for, it is fantastic. Even where quality is the main concern, I still wouldn't have any hesitation in using this. I'd be quite happy with it. I've actually bought a couple of adapters and 1 or 2 older lenses that I've tried with this. One of them, which is really beautiful older lens, is a Vota 58mm f1.4. That lens, portrait photography on this camera, is out of this world. It doesn't have the sharpness of modern lenses, but for me, that's not what I want. It has beautiful creamy feel to it, beautiful creamy bokeh. It renders skin tones, portraits beautifully. That also has a beautiful throw on it. It's not too big, so even with the adapter, it works perfectly well on this camera. And wasn't much money really. I will also be trying the Helios 58mm f2 with a swirling bokeh, just purely for the cost of it. It's nice to try lenses that have character. some of the most modern lenses are optically perfect or near perfect, and for situations where perfection is required, such as architectural photography or anything with detail, fair enough. But for me, most of my photography, especially with people, it's about art, about character, about the rendering of personality, and I don't really want finish. I want character, I want creaminess, I want it to stand out as being different. So those lenses on my Nikon, older lenses, manual focus lenses, it's hard work, but on this, with the focus assist, the area in focus highlights up in bright red or green or yellow, whatever you prefer, and it's just so easy, and it's fairly quick, and it's very accurate. So for anybody who's looking for something in addition to their DSLR, for travel, even when they're out and about, the camera always with them, this is actually absolutely brilliant. As a replacement for a DSLR, for me, not yet. I still prefer the actual usability of a Nikon camera. I know that the Fujis have come close with their dials on the top and easy accessibility, and I haven't tried one of those yet. But with that aside, everything else on this camera is very, very, very good. Even the battery life, I haven't really found too much of a problem with it. It doesn't last as long as the Nikon, fair enough, but I would expect that with it being a smaller battery, but it was not a problem to have a spare charger. I bought one from Amazon, a spare twin charger and 2 batteries. They weren't much. So I always have a spare battery with me. They don't weigh much, so 2 seconds to change a battery is neither here nor there for me. Everything else, I find it brilliant. I love the way that you actually get real-time display when you're looking through the viewfinder and you change settings, especially on a manual focus lens with a manual aperture dial on this. As I'm looking through the viewfinder, I can actually see what the image will look like. When I've taken an image, I can see it through the viewfinder, so even on a bright day, I can get a clear view of the image, whereas on the rear screen, especially in direct sunlight, you can't really do that. So definitely very, very good camera. And now that the price on this has dropped significantly with the release of the 6300 and then 6500, this is so much money, so much camera for the money. So it really is, because literally it's not much more than a compact. Looking at some of the Sony lenses though, they're very overpriced. I think that they're horrendously overpriced. As my walkabout lenses, I went for the Sigma DN, the 19 and the 50. The 19 and the 30, because when I'm going to be out and about, I wouldn't really have a 50 on this. So the 50, normally I would only be using it if I'm going to be taking portrait shots or something indoors. And I'm happy with the manual focus lenses that I have. I found both of those lenses to be very, very good. They work very well on this camera. They fit perfectly, they look nice, they balance nicely, they focus very well, and the image quality is superb, and they were fantastic value. Yeah, they're both f2.8. I would have preferred a faster 30mm, especially 35, but the Sony 35mm 1.8 over £300, I think far too much for what it is. And the Sigma make a 30mm 1.4. That's also fairly expensive. It's very big, and the reports that I've heard, the feedback that I have is that it's not quite as fast focusing as these DN lenses, which focus superbly, no problem at all. So far I've skipped Sony lenses. I'll just think that they are far too expensive. And as for the zooms, outside of the kit lens, the other two high-priced zooms, they're a lot of money for an f4 lens, and the image quality doesn't justify the price. So for me at the moment, it's just primes on this, which works well because it keeps the camera even smaller. But as I said, this Samyang f2, it's fast, it's high quality, it's amazing, it's very, very good. So far, my initial thoughts on the A6000 is definitely worth buying for the reasons that I've stated. And I'll do a further review in a few weeks' time when I've had a lot more use for it. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.